Do you have any questions, comments, or concerns?
Sorry, yeah. Just one thing. It's completely unrelated to everything else that's been going on the last few days. As a new sergeant that was just recently promoted, I tried to make use of what is it, the rank and file for my members for my
Mhm.
report tonight, and it was not up to date. I've got it figured out thanks to Keshiel helping me out. But
Okay.
it would be nice if that was more up to date more often. I don't know what the answer is right now, but yeah, that would be helpful.
Well, all right. Well, Master of the Forge, Ayako, once we finish up this meeting, would you be able to get some of your guys to update that forum? We could probably have the lieutenants take a look at, send you some reports of the active members.
You mean my guy?
Yeah, your guy. I forget you only have one right now. We'll fix that in time.
And he's single-handedly holding up the Arboreum.
I have
Well,
plans for that sheet if I ever make it there, man.
Get this
You
man.
know what?
Get
Well,
this man.
You know what? I'm going to keep an eye on you. That's probably where you're going to be going.
All right.
But we'll get that handled for you in post-haste. All right. Sergeant Ace, do you have any questions, comments, or concerns?
Am I speaking strictly in regards to the content of my squad report, and we're handling the recent drama later? Is that
No, this is pretty much open floor. If it's your sergeant report, I will read it. We're going to change the way this format is. It's mainly if there's anything in the report that hasn't been added. If not, you're good to go. And if you have any questions about anything else, floor is yours.
so? I don't have anything meaningful to add with respect to my sergeant reports. Everything is in there.
Okay.
You can go and read them.
For sure.
As far as recent events are concerned, I have several questions. I don't know exactly how much time we're willing to spend on each individual, so I will try to be succinct about certain things.
Okay.
And I will preface some of the things that I am about to say with the knowledge that I am willing to discuss some of this in further detail at a later time when I am not at risk of having the meeting run unnecessarily late by doing so. As far as the recent drama is concerned, I really hope that this becomes an opportunity for the chapter to look into some of the more frequent complaints that it receives in relation to the handling of its management. In particular, the often excessive secrecy that is displayed by the upper echelon management in relation to the chapter's future plans and current projects. I have some ideas on how to address that. But again, I will try and reserve that for a later time when I'm not going to have the meeting run over long as a result.
Well, if you want, DM that to me, and then I will give that to everybody, to the proper people that, like, if it's for a specific division, I'll pass it over to them, and I'll go over it with them, and I can get back to you with that.
I would appreciate that.
Yeah, this is where we are working on fixing a lot of the things. If there's anything on that list that is being in the works, I can list it off to you. I can give you a call after this with that list and break down anything and let you know what's being changed and what is a good idea. And then I'll pass it on over to them, if that sounds fair to you.
If you have a list of things that you are currently working on, it would be great to be in the know.
Oh, we're going to be listing off some of that stuff right now.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
then as far as specific questions are concerned, I did actually have one that I feel that I need to ask on behalf of some of the brothers who came to me seeking an answer, a clarification, if you like,
Roger that.
as to what happened. And I will be blunt then. What exactly is the story with the likes of Brother Crixus? What happened with him? He's departed now, but why?
So, Brother Crixus, I brought him into the Reclusium. He has been a bastion within the Reclusium as a chaplain, even as a Jizz here, first off, staying boots on the ground. He has been phenomenal within the Reclusium. He has helped us out with a lot of behavioral tickets and handling them, along with just him handling his own tickets and his reports. With that, he had a personal message along to myself, Coffee, and KS stating, "Hey, this is no harm, Will. These are my brothers. He wants to go." And I personally asked him, "Is this your resignation?" Which, with his reply, "Yes, this is my resignation." So I took the roles, and he left on his own accords. I have no ill will towards him.
Was this conversation something that occurred in a DM or over a voice chat?
I have his resignation. Like, I have the message.
And would you share that?
If you would like, yes.
I would like that, yes.
All right.
Could I also, sorry, this is Sergeant Malakim. Could I also see that because he Crixus himself, like he was my sergeant when I first came in, so I feel like I kind of owe him a debt of gratitude. He was also my sergeant when I was FTL. So I'd
Yeah,
like
he's
to see that.
well,
He also
if
sent me a
everyone-
he also sent me a message himself of what his departing message was before he was like silenced by the chapter or whatever, timed out, whatever the fuck it's called. Before he got timed out, he said he had a message to type up. So I'm gonna go back to Ace's time, but just saying I would like that message.
No, it's totally fair.
If everyone is okay with it, just so that way anyone else who's interested can read it, I would say either put it into this text channel in this chat if possible, or the Blood and Bone one.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Stick it in either one will work, just so that it's in the open. So if any brothers that haven't been here, they'll be able to at least see what we are talking about.
Right. I got you.
Yes, there have been
I
some
will be
conflicting
posting it.
reports on what happened with him. That leads me to a
It was
follow-on
his-
question.
What's up?
I have had some of the other brothers approach me who are still in some sort of contact with a few who have left. And they have stated that they have heard from some of the individuals who have left that there are as yet ongoing efforts to sort of seek some measure of reconciliation. I want to highlight a particular incident here that I was asked to follow up on, which has to do with Biscuit. He was supposedly invited here, I think just the other day, maybe 2 days ago. I wasn't quite clear on the timeline. To possibly have a discussion about some of the things that happened, and his global server silencing was removed in order to facilitate him being in one of the channels here or something to that effect. And then no one actually came to speak with him. He eventually left after waiting a while, and then found that later he was silenced on a server again. So what happened there?
So with him, I did take off his timeout because I was needing to get a meeting with him. I had other meetings that had to go down and that went down. I work a 10-hour shift every day. I'm a fucking electrician. I need my sleep. I'm sorry. I wasn't able to get it. Along with that, there were multiple other meetings that had to get done. I've sent my chaplains out to message them. We have real life, brother. I am sorry if we can't get it at an orderly manner to everyone, but as I tell everyone, real life takes priority.
Did you follow up with Biscuit and tell him that though?
I was going to say, have you sent him a message to this effect? Because my understanding
That
is
is
there was no.
That is a personal thing on my fault. I have relayed to him. I just haven't reached back. I have relayed to my chaplains to reached out to him, and I haven't heard back from them on that, on him specifically.
We have been
Understood.
We have been making multiple. We have been talking with a lot of the brothers. Some of them are currently in here where we were just gauging what their thoughts are, what they want to do, and then allowing them to stay, keep their rank, and be here peacefully. So that is also something that we've also been doing. Phantom and his guys have been working tirelessly on that, making sure things get done. Those were the meetings that he's speaking of.
I follow.
It is in Blood and Bone, brothers.
All right. Then as far as strict questions are concerned, those were the two things that I was asked to do some following up on for the sake of some of the other brothers who can't be here for one reason or another.
Roger
So
that. And then
I'll sort of cede the floor until I hear this list of things that are working on or being changed as a result of this, and not hold us up any further. Thank you.
Okay. And then we will probably also do another community meeting with all of the evidence, just so that all the brothers are aware. You guys are also fully able. You are allowed to let them know, so that their questions do get answered and that they can feel comfortable with those answers.
Also, real quick to clarify about the community meeting that we had, that occurred one day after the mass exodus, is what I usually call it. We were still trying to set everything straight as far as what really went down, what was true, what was not entirely true, stuff that was false. And also in the past couple of days, we have received additional information that we did not know beforehand. So I just want to thank all of you for being patient with us and not constantly asking for more information or this or that when we didn't have the right answer for you. So thank you all.
All right, and then with that, Malcolm, since you were since you were speaking, if you wanted to continue asking any questions, the floor is yours.
All right, Roger that. Sounds good. I'm gonna feel bad about this, but I know Ace was conscientious of everyone's time. I'll try to be, but I guess like my question from all of that kind of goes into like where do our priorities lay? And before I like kind of seed that back to you guys, like I'm just gonna give a little background here. Like this is a MilSim server.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, I work in the military. I got 10 years active duty, and I made 6 next week. Hooray me! Um, with that, like some of the things I've seen work and not work in the military, right? My current unit, the big that tend to work is senior leadership empowering those below them. So, like, if it's something having a death watch, it's not like up to the top leadership to be like, all right, this is going to be this. It's like, hey, you guys go out and figure out how we'd like to run Death Watch. Give us that idea, and then we'll let you roll with it if we approve of that. So that's kind of stuff that tends to work. You know, it makes you feel like they're doing something, and then you still have the final say at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Other things, taking accountability when stuff gets fucked up. So, you know, sometimes the best answer is being like, you know what, I fucked up. That's my fault, but we're going to do better there. And with that, like, I'm just going to list off the guys written down. So I've got a list of name of guys that left and their AARs, or at least just, this isn't even their points, just the amount of AARs that they ping for when you type it into after action reports. We got Desmodus at 406, Caledon at 439, Hizzy at 289, Crixus at 614, Juan at 190, Centio at 518, Lucio at 47, Biscuits at 351. Me being somebody with 738, not trying to flex on them, like I feel like I'm kind of boots on the ground doing a lot of it's not dirty work. I love playing games with the brothers, but like that activity is probably first and foremost to everything we do in this server. And so lose guys like that, like our priority should lay in building that bridge to figure out, okay, why the hell did 10 guys, and that I'm probably missing names there, but like, why the hell did they leave? And how can we manage that so that we don't lose people like that? And they have many values, like beyond just their AARs. Like, you know, there's guys in there that did a lot of the work, like for the media campaigns for this chapter. So, you know, it's like, where do our priorities lie? Is kind of my question then.
So right now, as the priorities are for this, majority of this was from Death Watch, the Death Watch, the way that it was being run previously. Beforehand, it was done in a 3-person, 2-month period. This was per the wishes of previous Red Council members. As Sanguinius and I gave it some time to look to see if we can improve it. And with that, we actually made a conscious change to it. I did notify some of the members that did leave that this was going to be changed, but I didn't know when we were going to have this meeting with the server that I'm currently aligned with now. Lehman is actually a part of that server as well. He's the one that gave me the tip to join them, and we're going to be working hand in hand with them doing Death Watch. So as that stood, the day after I talked with Caledon on this meeting about joining the Death Watch and about changing things, I looked at his proposal. I found it was very good, but it was a little bit too hard for the brothers that may want to join later on. The requirements were very catered to his skill set and the people that were a part of that group. So while I was giving it careful consideration with Sang and with some of the other members of Red Council, I got a ping from Hawk, the leader of Watch Fortress Pikemen, who was given my contact information by Tibby or by Lehman Russ here. And while this stuff was before this stuff happened, about 2 hours prior, we were in a meeting with them, talking to them and getting our alliance set up so that we could start advertising our server, bringing people in that maybe are just joining that Death Watch server, and learning the rules and ropes. Tibby, if you'd would you like to share any of the details of that server that are going down?
Yeah. So Death Watch Fortress Pikeman is actually pretty sweet. I got in contact with him a few months back, and I have been looking into it for you guys as well, and doing a little bit of scouting and research. They have an entire program set up based off of their own missions. You go over, you can serve 1 term, 2 term, 3 term, multiple terms. They have different, baselines to earn the different pieces of armor, as well as over there they have their own records hall where, like, if you complete like certain extreme missions or you go above and beyond and you complete these challenges, like, you'll actually go into like their hall of fame and all sorts of stuff. It's actually super cool. Animosis and a few of the guys have been over there playing. They say it's a blast. The guys over there are super cool. They're super chill. They do have some stuff that's going to be more harder and more extreme for people, but like the majority of the actual system itself is based around people going over, serving, having a good time, and expanding into the lore of Warhammer. So,
I mean, that's terrific. And truly it does. It does terrific. And it sounds exciting. But to me, it's like that feedback given to them. Like, how did we go to empower them to be like, hey, your stuff's a little bit too tough, but like, we're going to be doing pikemen instead. And we'd like to try and throw you into here to help out with that.
With that, I was going to have a secondary meeting with Caledon, but this was an hour after I had this meeting, and we were going to announce, and I was going to put Caledon. I was going to ask Caledon if he wanted to join. He proceeded. They all started exiting the server. So for about that 2-hour window where we were watching everyone leave, I started scrambling, trying to figure out what's going on, trying to figure out what the situation was. Sang and I were about to post our announcement of the alliance.
Right.
So at that point, we kind of turned our focus onto what was going on, trying to get information, figure out who we need to talk to, and that's where we come to here, being where we are right now. So that is mainly the reason why it hasn't been addressed or changed, or the things that they asked were fulfilled, because they didn't give me much time to react to it.
Gotcha.
I told him I'd reconvene with him in about 2 weeks, because I said we did have a public event going on. The plan was, halfway through that public event that we were going to be doing, I was going to have Cassius come through with him in full RP, sending out a Death Watch kill team order, the kill team Cassius, and he was going to announce, that's how we were going to announce the alliance with the new server, but like fully to everybody. And then we were going to do a 2-week like event where everyone could dress up in Death Watch gear and have fun. But due to the course of all this stuff going on, that got pushed back, and we mainly wanted to focus on getting enough information for you guys to help you feel more comfortable and understand what we've been doing in the back end.
If I
Okay.
may also add to that, if I'm not mistaken, we were to put the selection of brothers that we were going to put forward was going to be taken to a community vote rather than
Yeah.
being continued to held within the Red Council, kind of taking it more so even further out of our hands and giving it more to you guys to decide who goes, when they go, so on and so forth. So
And that'd give everyone equal opportunity. If we had brothers that put up aspirations for the Death Watch, I would want everyone to take that in consideration. We would make a list of people that are interested in going. And then if you guys have any other ones to add to it, you just let us know. We put out the list, the vote is made. And as of right now, we have 3 members that we chose, that Baron is actually one of them. I chose
That's a
him
surprise to
mainly.
me. I had no
Yeah,
idea. Okay.
due to his dedication to his role and how he's always stood by as this everlasting veteran sergeant. No matter how much I try to give him a promotion, he doesn't want it. So
I really don't.
So he was going to be a part of that group of Death Watch guys, along with a couple other people. So those people will be still in there, but we do have 6 other people that will be chosen by you guys, and then every other poll will be done by you guys only. So just to give them what we were, let them earn what we wanted to gift them. So
Okay. Yeah, that sounds great. It sounds like sounds a lot better than whatever the heck I'm in right now, which you can just kick me from that. I know I'm not supposed to talk about it, whatever that is,
no,
but the old Death
you're
Watch,
totally
yeah.
fine. So if you're in there, any brothers that are currently in the Death Watch, you can talk freely about it. We are changing it. That server is going to be closing, and then the brothers that are all currently still active in the Death Watch will be given a link to join that new server. And you're going to be talking to some of the watch commanders over there until we can get people trained in their ticket system. Once that's
Okay.
done, we'll have a watch commander over there documenting your guys' activity, making sure you guys get your armor pieces, and then all that information will be sent over to Phaeton. Phaeton will then make the posts saying that you've earned these things. It'll be kind of closed there, but we'll have a record that you guys have earned it and you can wear it freely. I'm still trying to figure out the semantics of what we can do with how many pieces you guys can wear, but that hasn't been a discussion yet.
That sounds great. I will say, like, timing wise, it does seem like there was the weeks leading up to the Exodus where we had this Death Watch,
Yeah.
and then Pikeman came right after everybody left. So I don't know if it was in the works before then.
It was
whatever.
in the works. This is a fuck up on my part,
All right,
and I 100%.
I'm
go
gonna
ahead,
step in
Judy.
real quick. So it has been in the works since October.
Yeah.
So the only
Yeah,
reason there
yeah.
was another Death Watch even going on over here as a trial run was because I was literally already sending my guys over to watch Fortress Pikeman and we were checking it out. Because there was no way that I was going to be like, oh yeah, dude, go ahead and go over there and then end up with you guys having all sorts of problems to deal with. But it has been in the works for the BA since like October. And I'm pretty sure there's messages if we go back that we could find if we have to dig through that many.
No, that's cool to hear. Then I think
Yeah,
the lesson
each time-
here. Then, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dante.
Oh, I was saying each time we do anything where it's like communicating with another server, it's like months in advance before you guys even get like a hint of it. It was before I was Dante. It was when I was still Captain FIL. And I was aware of it, but Tibby and I haven't been really talking all that much because I've been mainly focusing on the community outreach when I was Captain FIL, which I'm going to start doing as well, which was another thing you were talking about on top of that, which is us being more present, being able to come down and play games with you guys. I'm going to start hosting painting. We're going to start hosting our painting events again. And then I'm also going to be doing little streams where I'm just building my minis and talking about lore. So that's going to be something I'm going to be doing every Friday. It's my fiance and I like to build minis, and she's
I
trying
was
to
gonna
force me
say,
to
is
do
your
that.
fiance gonna be in it? Because I know
He
you
will.
and her love building, and that's what I was
Yes,
gonna
that's
say. If
true.
you are, that's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, so she's a part of the server as well. She's under Shipmate and Seraphin. So she'll be around trying to be more active, saying hi to everybody. But she
Yeah.
mainly just likes to build the minis and just watch me and make fun of me while I play the game.
Okay. Yeah, I think the lesson here is like transparency is always great, right? Like I
Yeah.
think the secrecy idea, while it sounds cool on paper, like the whole secrecy of Death Watch like did not play out well.
Yeah. That
And
was
then
a
opening it up to a vote and having these more regular officer meetings, I think is only going to do better. Like comms
yeah.
is always the best.
Yeah, and
There should
that's
be the
something
main
that
takeaway.
yeah, that's something that's a fuck up on our end, and I will definitely take responsibility for upholding that secrecy. It was a wish for of the person who made the Death Watch at the time, so I was doing that out of just courtesy and letting it be that way. But as we watched it progress, uh, a lot of the guys saw that it was a little bit too out there, and it's like we can't tell you guys how to get into it, so it didn't seem fair. So that's where Sang and I changed it, and I kept checking in with Tibby to see how he liked this server specifically.
Okay, sweet, sweet. So again, in the essence of transparency here, doing my own internal affairs investigation because I care about all of my brothers, come and gone.
Yes.
So I've obviously been talking to them. Um, and with all of that, like I got approached by a lieutenant that wanted to pass me or refer me for a lieutenant. And I told him, I was like, I can't in good confidence or conscience, like take that role because like of how I feel about the chapter, given all the recent events. Right now, everything you're saying is great. The one thing that I'll say that like kind of, like the reservation I have is still prioritizing trying to go back and build, right? Like I talked to those brothers and they said they're supposed to have a meeting with Red Con this week. It didn't happen. Just like when Astrath was talking about it. So it'd be cool. Like if I heard that that meeting happened and like, you know what, it doesn't fucking work out. It doesn't work out. But at least like we try to let cooler heads prevail. I'd rather see that and know like what side the mature side's on.
Yeah.
The only thing is like, I'm not gonna air out what sides were here. Let's see if I can do this. Chat. Let me make sure there's no names in this real quick while I glance over it. Am I okay to reload Crixus's final message here as he worded it to me? Because I think it's pretty powerful.
That's
Or
fair. You can. No, go ahead. Sorry, I was
this is
letting my fiance know I was still in the meeting.
because this is what he told me he was trying to send out before he was timed out, and I feel like I owe it to him because he was my sergeant. He said, I worked my ass off for nothing, man. I did all the mediation between you guys, which is Caledon's folks, and Red, and I got with help, all the, part of my French, this is his words, not mine, fucking proof of egotistical cunts behavior. Sorry about that. Behavior. Meeting on top of to lay out punishment plans for everyone. Everything was done. All the proof about, I'm going to redact that name to clear their name. Here we go. Not even doing genders. And stop the fucking separation. But then they doubled on what he would claim to be lies and bullshit. Oh, he was a little mad that he was overworked. So that's why he left. I left this place because as soon as I saw two brothers leave, there they were, all the problematic people in RC that were supposed to be sorry about the behavior, saying good riddance, and that they were troublemakers that left and just running their names through the dirt. Difference in opinion, my butt. The hypocrisy is wonderful. I didn't leave because I was overwhelmed. I left because I got tired of everybody running their mouths. I'm sorry I failed, brothers. I love this place. All the friends I made here and all the fun I had here were one of the best things that happened to me in 2025. I'm sorry it had to come to this. All the brothers that left did so for good reasons, and they meant every word of it. Goodbye, my brothers. Signed, Crixus. So to me, like, obviously, like that, why I passed up LT, it's like it raises a lot of questions hearing that kind of stuff from somebody that I played with, had a with, considered a friend, and respected. And I don't know, man. It's just it's not good. Like see that kind of stuff, and we're not trying to prioritize rebuilding that bridge and trying to be like, well, what happened here? And the person in question, like, even was supposed to be punished and on a penitent crusade, and still now they haven't been placed on a crusade or penance or whatever the hell it's called.
Phantom, do you have anything to add on that?
To add on to that, there is documentation and tickets that are open with probably the certain individual you're referring to.
Okay.
It is being handled very well. Trust me.
Okay, sounds good then. I'll take y'all's word for it then.
Yeah, that
Coffee
we
is on
do.
it. That's
We
coffee's
do
issue.
try to keep some form of HIPAA compliance with things, just because sometimes these things don't need to be brought up due to maybe subject matter not being a part of the server. Could be internal drama that happened outside of our control. If it's something that happens in the server, we try to keep it open to everybody and the people that are involved. If the chats get too vitriol, we'll shut them down just so that they stay on topic, stay focused. It's something that I do in my day-to-day work as a mental health counselor. So Crixus and I were both working hand in hand kind of with like those types of things. And Phantom can also vouch for that I do peek my head in there every once in a while and just make sure everything stays on topic. But it's hard to hear that, and it's going to give us a lot to reflect on and change for sure.
Right. No, and again, sorry, I know that's a tough one to read last there. I've taken a lot of time, so I'm going to go ahead and cede my time. My squad's doing good. I haven't done a report yet because I've been just looking into everything, and also I've had a pretty shitty stomach bug all week. I'll get it done tonight, though,
I'm
when I
there
get a
with you,
chance.
brother. This
Yeah, it's rough.
this one has affected a lot of us, and that's why we were really thankful for you guys giving us the time to like process and really kind of try to focus on what we can get you that's evidence based and the pretty much the best that we can give you at this time. If there's any other changes, we can update. But I feel that we are giving you guys the best information that we got.
With that, I see who Ace, you gave us not the whole trust me, it doesn't seem too trusting. I understand, but I will say it
You
isn't in my
understand, but
hand
you're not
because
going to do anything about it.
oh no,
Is that the short of it?
I'm still talking, brother. It's fine if you want to listen though. Thank you.
Go ahead.
So as I stated, it is being worked. I am in the Red Council, just like the personal mentioned, and I am not going to fucking be handling this. So it is not up to me at the end of the day. It will be handled. So for that, trust me, it is very much. It will be handled. I can't give you more information on how, but it will be.
Who is handling it then?
Sanguinius and I will be handling it with coffee.
Yes.
It's gotten to that point that it
I
is.
follow.
So Sanguinius felt that he needed to step down from retirement. He is the former master of sanctity of this server. So he is doing this he's going to be talking to the individual and making sure that it is handled professionally and done well.
I will also say that behavioral tickets have to maintain a set of secrecy, just as stated previously about compliance with HIPAA, I think it was, and the fact that we don't need to be airing people's dirty laundry all across the server, letting everyone know, saying, hey, such and such did such and such to whoever. It's always been how it's been ran for the safety of people who are in the server, especially if they remain in the server after the ticket is handled.
It is to maintain the sanctity of the server, just to make sure that we have peace. There isn't any ill will that is stacked on a person, because if they've already done a penance, they have been spoken to by the Reclusium and the Apothecarium, and they are basically retrained as if they were an aspirant. And it's
I want to be clear that I generally agree with this sentiment, just
Okay.
for the record. But
Understood.
Not everybody's typical dirty laundry, you know, as you phrase it, results in like 10 something of our community members leaving.
And that is
so
fair. This
unusual
was
circumstances.
This one was very severe, so we had to. This is why it is a matter that was outside of the server that was brought into here, and I do apologize to everybody that this was something that ended up causing this. So, as it is right now, it is being handled, and you will see results of that probably within the next couple weeks. As you can see, that person is not currently here. I have placed him on an operational LOA, and his apothecaries are currently working.
Understood.
Yes.
I'm going to keep getting questions about it. People have already
That's fair.
asked me, and all I can do is come and seek answers.
Yep. And
Because
that's about this.
you don't have any
This is
yet.
what it. Yeah. Well, this is what's going to be. This is all I can really do at the moment since it hasn't been done. The penance has not been put out yet, and it's so that everyone can process, calm down, and we can then start doing this on cooler heads where everyone's baseline.
And can I ask
Understood.
some questions that it doesn't seem like anybody's asking that seem kind of important?
All right.
So how is it that in a 2-hour time period, these people all decide to up and go, create massive drama within 2 hours, and all leave the server in a 10-man squad? I mean, as far as I've seen, and this would be the fourth occasion that this has happened with different brothers that matter inside of the server, situations like this actually build up over a period of time. Which means that there's some sort of underlying background problem that probably preceded to happen before this happened. And somebody in this situation usually is the instigator saying, hey, we should probably just leave. Has anybody asked these questions?
Not as of yet. So I'm mainly checking in with each of the sergeants, answering their questions, and then we do have our piece that we will be sharing on that as well. Phantom has a list of things to discuss.
This is a question towards the sergeants. This isn't even a question towards you, but like the sergeants seem very upset, and I completely understand because I'm the one who literally brought Biscuit in back in the day. You know, and it's completely understandable. But the other side of it is like your side of the grievances, and it does create issues, especially considering you guys feel left in the dark. But RC handles a lot of situations that a lot of people don't understand. For example, like out of 10 servers that we might talk to, we might not work with any of them. So there's different situations and standards that we have to go through. And if we brought that up every time and had meetings about it every time, you guys would never get to play a game, which is what I deal with over in the Space Wolves server as well. And it seems like you guys are very upset about these brothers leaving, which is completely understandable. But the other half of that is it sounds like there's a lot of blame being put on one side of this situation. And I'm just asking you guys to possibly open your eyes to see that maybe somebody on the other side might not be so innocent as well.
Yeah, so since you bounced it back to the sergeants, yeah, I did ask that question, and there's a pretty substantial catalyst as to why those people, because they were the ones that knew what was going on, they all left together. Everybody else was kind of in the dark. I mean, I found out. I'm still trying to, do the whole he said, she said thing. That's why I'm still here, because I get there are two sides to every story. But at the same time, like, that's kind of why I'm bouncing it back to leadership. It's like prioritizing that stuff and also, owning what you got to own to keep those people around, or just chalking it up to a loss. Like, is it something that you can't come back from because whatever it is that they want, you can't meet? I don't know, but it's like, I get we're working on it, so I'll patiently wait, but I'd like to know like how that work went down the road in the future. Because I can't make.
So there,
And that has been a direct result of us lacking communication over these last 2 months. We switched to a less regular communication schedule, a less regular meeting schedule, which used to be weekly, where everybody could air things out, everybody could talk about things, and we could talk about the plans we had at the time or moving forward on a weekly basis. As usual, when I bring these up here recently, I want to just make this like a very blatant, plain statement. The meetings are not and never have been mandatory. If you can't make a meeting, just make sure your paperwork gets done for the week so we can keep track of what the hell's going on. But beyond that, like, if you have real life to live, if you have something to do that. We're not asking you to be here every single week, every single freaking like meeting. there's like we have 3-4 meetings a week that we do every single week. There's we're asking you guys to maybe possibly, if you can, show up once a week, and that's not, again, not mandatory. So at that point, we're going to be reinstating like weekly meetings. We're going to be having more constant communication, because like that is where a lot of this fell short, was a lot of us like feeling stifled, a lot of you guys feeling stifled, not being able to talk to us, not being able to talk to anybody here in the Red Council, I guess, because of the infrequency of just talking. We made this decision back in, I think, mid to late November to switch, and it's, I mean, it's just not been okay. You know, it might have worked had we done it earlier in the year and then started on that schedule. But the fact of the matter is, we tried to make that switch, and then right after, we went into a holiday season where everybody's, you know, doing things, celebrating, they're out with their families. It's, you know, it's not cool. So yeah, no, we're gonna go back to a frequent meeting schedule, and it could, because it's needed. We all need time to talk, and we all need we all need more time so that more people have more opportunities to talk. That was the point of the frequent meeting schedules, so that they all don't have to be mandatory. Because if we have one meeting a month, that then becomes mandatory, because then everybody has to show up, and then we have an 6-hour long meeting because everybody's got to sit and air everything out. Whereas if we have these more frequent meetings, we have these more frequent discussions, we can actually talk to each other and facilitate communication with each other. We will then be able to discuss these things, and things won't come to these boiling points like they did with this particular issue. Because while there is while the Death Watch thing was a part of it, there's a large underlying current that caused this entire exodus.
Thank you, Mephiston, for sharing that. And thank you, Lehman, for sharing as well.
A sort of follow-on thought to that.
And please go ahead.
The frequent meetings are not in and of themselves a bad idea, but just to share a certain perspective, the way that I have heard these more frequent meetings described to me previously, and remember, this was before I became like a sergeant or whatever, so I was not in them when they were more frequent, was that they often wasted a lot of time on treading ground that was already covered in things like sergeant reports, for instance, which then again only served to limit the amount of time that people had to express other things that were frankly more important than rereading things that are already in a text document somewhere. It gives the impression that the people who should be reading these reports are not actually reading them, which begs the question of why we're doing them. And so that was something that gets brought up quite a lot when I talk to people who were there when these meetings were more frequent.
If I may, on that.
One second, and I'll let you go. I apologize.
apologize.
I was sort of prompted more
No,
than once now
go ahead.
to read one other
Go ahead.
thing before I let you go. Something in relation to sort of all of this, really, that a couple people DM me and were like, "You should read this out loud to make sure that it doesn't get skipped." Sure. This was said while we were talking about the Death Watch, but I feel like it has a broader sort of application, in that one of the things that sort of leads to situations like this, these drama events and the mass exodus, as we're calling it, is this sort of underlying discurrent of people being not heard, or their suggestions not being seriously considered. And the thing that I had said in relation to some of that was, I'm just going to read what I said verbatim in case you skipped it in amongst all the people posting memes, was that making many of these sort of secondary or tertiary advancement paths that we have within the chapter, things like our quest system, things like the Death Watch, if we're going to continue doing that, anything else that we might come up with, you could even apply this in some broad way to First Company, I guess, but that's a different conversation for another time. More accessible is something that is only ever going to be in our interest. I'm not sure how an elitist mentality, and this is one of the things that I disagree with some of the people who left with, really benefits the broader community of the chapter, making it so that you only have like 1 or 2 people in the entire chapter that ever do this thing or get this cosmetic item or whatever. Not helpful. We should be doing everything in our power to make the community more attractive to join and stay in. Because that's only ever going to become something that's increasingly difficult to do as Space Marine 2 gets older and its community shrinks. Putting that simply, just let people do and have cool shit. There's a lot of 40k to go around. There's a lot we can work with just within the confines of Be a Blood Angel. Let's embrace some of that.
Phaeton, with that being brought up, do you want to share any of the things that you've been working on?
Can we address the beginning
Oh,
point
yes.
of
Yes,
what he was
please.
saying really quick? Please remind me on that really quick because I had a thought to add. The structure of meetings. So I would like to actually highlight that. That is a really good fucking point that I very thoroughly agree with. I mean the lieutenant's the lieutenant's entire job is to make a summary of the sergeant's reports. So without feeling I believe in the past, the reason that the old high command had the sergeants speak up and make their piece, as it were, by speaking their sergeant reports was more so that you guys felt heard. But I believe what we can do in the future, rather than do that, is have you guys, speak any questions or anything like that that you've come up with, kind of as we're doing today. Have it be more of an open forum for the sergeants during the Blood and Bone meetings, and then we can leave the more technical, the more like legislative, logistical crap on paper, as it were.
Yeah, to add on to that, the way I heard it was when these meetings started all the way back in the very beginning of the server, it was a time for sergeants to speak about how many people they were able to recruit and how many people had to be sent to reserves to sort of gather all the information as to the life of the server. From all the way back then, I don't know if they had the written down sergeant's reports or not. I'm assuming they had
They
something
did.
similar or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you
But
like me to
that's
speak
how
in
I
on
heard
that?
it, and it's
Yes, please.
sort of
Since
just
Tibby is one of
translated
the
into
older
what I
members of the
All
server.
right. So I joined your guys' server well over a year ago, back when there was like 110 members or something like that. And I was a sergeant back in those days. See, the period of time, it evolved into sergeants just reading their sergeant reports. That was on the sergeant's side. That wasn't on Red Council's side. It's never been mandatory for them to read their sergeant reports. It was a time for a sergeant to talk and be like, hey, how's your squad doing? Tell us about that. Do you have any questions? And back then we would be like, all right. So the sergeant report itself was to show the activity of your squad, to be able to track the numbers for other chapters of the community in order to keep track of. For example, like how do you think they know the overall AAR scores of a lot of different people? One person can't go through and count 1,300 members. So the sergeants go through and they put that on the report. They also put any side notes like, hey, this person needs to be moved to reserves, or this person just got added to my squad. The period of time that they had during the sergeant meetings to speak was for them to actually talk. My squad is doing like this. But also I have these concerns for my squad as well as the battle line. And I was somebody who defended the battle line for a long time. And like you can ask any of the old guys, like I literally was heart and soul all about the battle line, so I get that.
Yep.
The evolution of it turning into people reading their sergeant reports about who needs to go reserve and how many people that recruited evolved over certain periods of time where people got really nervous and then they would just read off their sergeant report really fast, and then it kind of evolved into that. It was never about that to begin with.
So then we will be making a point to move back into making sure that sergeants know that this is this is your guys' time to talk. Like this is how meetings should go. We ask a sergeant what's up, and they have an open forum to discuss with everybody present to talk about what's going on and how they feel.
I think this is something that we should also be adding to the TL training process so that when they get promoted to sergeant, they're actually aware of how these meetings work. Because a lot of the new sergeants come in and they have no idea what's going on. And so if they hear, well, the 3 sergeants before me just read off their report, so I guess that's what I'm supposed to do. That's how that snowballs. So
I will absolutely make that a part of my training program. The librarians take notes on that, and we'll make that a part of your programs moving forward. I'm gonna put it.
Note taken.
I'll edit the notes and throw that in, but so that we have a more solid note of it in black and white. But make a mental note of that.
I don't mean to cut in real quick, but I was thinking myself after I was just hearing him said that, and it was a good point. I was wondering because as we people know, your FTLs can come in here and listen. Once it is like we get comfortable with doing what we were doing now, like this new way, which was the original way, for just quick answers and just doing what we're doing now. Is it possible we can just start having the FTLs join so they learn it by hand once it's more stable and everyone is just doing it the proper way? So they can see how it is. So when the time comes, they just see how it is directly, then just practicing it and not seeing it. Because I don't think a lot of people still realize they can.
That's definitely something that we can add into it. Rel, do you want to add that into the sergeant's training document as well, that their FTLs are invited to these meetings?
Yes, that's
Sure.
yeah, that's what I'm gonna make that a part of it. I'm gonna make it a part that they need to invite the FTLs, and then I'll make it part of the training that brothers are informed as they are moving into leadership, that as soon as they hit FTL, they are more than welcome to hit the Blood and Bone chat and sit and listen.
It just makes it so much
I
easier for
would
them once they
also
have to.
stress. I would also stress for sergeants to be active with their FTLs and encourage it and remind them when the meetings are taking place.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
always my understanding ever since I was an FTL that they are allowed to listen into these meetings to see how they go. The first meeting that I ever had for Blood and Bone, I was actually in charge of the squad as an FTL because it had recently been vacated and I was one of the few available at the time. So I was running that squad. They did not have me make a report at the time, but it was really good just to see how the flow of the meetings went and how it was supposed to be purposed, which I guess I should have been a little more open with my understanding of the meetings. I always took it as a time for sergeants to bring up complaints and concerns to the Red Council and the divisions and every other member who was present, because we are, or rather, we were able to interact more widely with the battle line because there are far more sergeants than there are Red Council members. And you guys also have the individual squad chats that you are able to interact with, able to see. You have a more dedicated group of members that you talk to on a more often basis than everyone else. You can ask Lehman here. If you find any of the other old Red Council members, you can also ask them. Me, Virgil, and Vladimir often brought up topics. I'm pretty sure our record was 4 for a single meeting that we brought up. But yeah, no, we were quite a pain in their backside for a while.
Here, try
But
this one
that
on
was-
for size. Hey, Slayer, you got your mic on?
Yeah.
Like,
What's
got
up?
one
How
up
many
here again?
times did I challenge the Red Council and be like, "Hey, what's going on with this or what's going on with that?" Ever since I became a sergeant.
Yeah, no, you did. That's the thing. I mean, I feel like, I'll be real with you. I don't know who said it, but over time, I guess the consensus of it was lost. But yeah, originally it was meant for people to discuss, yes, how their squad is doing, but also like, what do you see that we don't see? Because unfortunately, Red Councils do not have eyes everywhere. Even though we say we do, we don't. There's some stuff we miss. There's less of us than there is of, But yeah.
I do like to joke around about that, saying I can see everything. But yeah, I've been trying to take some time to not do that. So if you guys see anything that's amiss or something's wrong, definitely pass that along. I used to do the same thing when I was a sergeant. I would pass things on to my LT and make sure that they were aware that there was this item going on. Tibby was one of the people I would bother the most when it came to things being there being a discrepancy or something not working out. I'd be like, "Hey, can this get fixed, please?" And that was like before I was even a lieutenant. I believe. Do we have any other ones written in here at all? Oh, there's
Also,
I
a-
was
for
going
all
to
of
say
you
one
guys,
last thing. Hold on. Before we go any further,
Sorry.
there is one thing I wanted to say. Usually, I always ask. Well, back then, I usually always ask at the end. I'm like, does anyone have concerns, questions? People should definitely take advantage of that because if you don't, at the end of the day, the blame falls on you. You got to speak up. If you don't, well then, it doesn't end well. But I do recommend that for everyone here. Like, definitely speak up when you have like these chances like this. This is by far the best time because you have a bunch of witnesses to state any questions or concerns. And also, you got a group of people that actually could make an effective change pretty fast if told. But yeah, okay, I'm going mute now. I'm cleaning my dog's paw.
With that said,
And if there-
Lorenzo, could I say something? I want
You
to
don't gotta
bring
ask me
back.
that.
Well, let me ask something and bring something to the attention. I think Ace mentioned it before about Brother Biscuit. So I was made aware of this. I thought it was very odd that the brother had gotten permission, timeouts and stuff go through chats. I'm sure we know with the Maki, but he claimed that he had access and then he didn't, which I went to investigate and I checked the time frame that he told me and there was nothing in there about his roles being changed. So I wanted to ask, is it possible to delete MakiBot notifications?
I mean,
to my
I can
knowledge,
check.
no.
If you can let me
It
know which brother
absolutely
and what
is.
roles, can you send that to me? And I'm trying. What are you speaking out
Oh.
specifically so I can answer your question?
I don't know.
You want to DM that to me?
I don't know. That's the thing.
Are
There's
you-
no prior text chats to it in there, and I looked throughout 2 days backlog and saw nothing on it.
Well, what also could be
So
happening is when
I don't
he
know
did
what's going on
leave.
there.
What could have also happened is when he left, his tag was removed from the Maki bot. Because that does happen when I try to find old members that left. It turns into like a wild goose chase trying to find them. So
Well,
that's why.
The thing
go ahead.
was Biscuit never left.
Yeah.
He stayed in here. That was something that I actually checked because I had messaged him, I think, a few days priors on his absence and a few other people's absence, and they just told me that they were taking time away. So I just wanted to bring that up. That's it.
Yeah, I thought he left after he made that announcement.
His tag still came up. I even looked at it. When I heard about the departures, I looked and he was still in here. So I don't know. But I just thought I would bring that attention.
I'm messaging you right now because you may not be looking in the right place.
So while there's a pause, I would like to point out there is a lot of stuff going on in the voice channel's text chat right now. And I mean, some of these are honestly great ideas. Some of them may require a bit more discussion, so on and so forth. But if you just leave them in the voice channel text chat, they are more than likely going to get buried, especially by the random flood of memes that will occasionally pop up in here.
Yeah, so please DM all of them to me directly, and then I will post them in for the Red Council to consider, so that we can discuss them.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, being that we've The only sergeant that hasn't talked is Umbriel. How are you feeling right now? Do you have any questions, comments, or concerns that haven't been addressed so far?
Brother Umbriel, if
Yeah,
you're trying to speak.
yeah.
Okay, there he is.
Yeah, as it stands, not at the moment, no.
Okay, for sure. Hopefully the things that have been discussed so far have been able to kind of help ease your mind, and that we've been able to address some of the questions that the brothers have been asking. On that topic as well, Silent, I know that you can't talk, but do you have any questions that may have been missed? Could you please repost them in the VC? Nope. Okay, he's good to go. So at this current point, I'm going to leave the floor open to leave the floor open to all the division heads so that they can share any of the information that hasn't been addressed. So I'm going to start out with the captains. So we're going to do this in ascending order. So do any of you brothers have anything that you need to talk about or declare going on with these incidents that have been happening? We'll start out with Raphael.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? I was typing.
Oh, if you have anything to share or discuss that hasn't been already discussed on the incidents that have happened or the critiques that the brothers have given us.
As far as the incident with the members who left, I do not have anything particularly relevant to add. I would like to note, though, that again, as I have been scrolling through the voice channels text chat here, I am seeing a lot of ideas being brought up that I have heard from brothers previous to tonight. Some of them very repetitiously. Things like just making things more accessible to people. And I do want to stress that anybody who is posting those in there, that you do make sure that those don't get lost in that voice channel text channel portion, because we would like to have the opportunity to be able to address them. I especially would like to see some action taken on these issues, and so the best way for you to do that is, as Dante mentioned, to DM those along, and we can make sure that those actually get looked at and don't just get buried under the memes. That's been my biggest concern here lately, is making sure that the brothers that I do interact with here have felt heard. If I have fallen short of that for any of you, I do apologize. I do try to make myself as available as I can. Sometimes the best way to get a hold of me is just to DM me. If I get it in text form, I will see it, and I don't tend to forget as easily. So that's usually the best way to kind of make sure that I understand your situation as your captain and as your fellow community member. I think that's about all I have to add at the moment, though.
All right, I appreciate you. Thank you. Tycho, do you have anything to talk about specifically before I start going to all the divisions?
Yeah, just a few things. Obviously, this goes out to the whole room. We are taking everything on board that you're saying, and we are going to do our best to be more transparent going forward. It's not that we've ever tried to be secretive or put ourselves on a pedestal. It's just we're just trying to do the best for the server and the community, and we are taking all the feedback that we're getting really serious. I mean, really serious. Nothing's being discarded, and we've done a lot of talking, and we've hopefully made a step change to making the server better for you guys. But we can't do that alone. So continue to offer your support. in terms of suggestions, things that you want to see our community, because you're part of that, you're a big driver of that. Keep suggesting the things that would make this a good place to hang out and be dudes playing a game. So just say that again. We're not trying to hide things. We're trying to be as transparent as possible. And we're taking this really serious in making this a better place for all of us. Same as Virgil. If you've got a suggestion and you don't think it's being heard, please reach out to other members of the RC, because it may just be that the person you sent it to is busy with real life stuff. Things have come up. You know, we're just human at the end of the day, trying to do a good job in a hobby environment for you guys. So yeah, I think you're all great, and everyone's opinion matters. So please just send them over, and we'll be, from this point, as transparent as we can be for you. That was pretty much it for me.
All right, and then with that segue on Question Os, Phaeton, did you want to share anything specific about that for the brothers to kind of clear some air?
I think most of that's already been said now in the text chat.
Okay.
Finally, actually got some usable feedback.
All right. Well, is there any of those ones you want to kind of state out in the open, or are you just writing everything down? Because I know that we are going to be starting to discuss stuff together, and that you're going to be having your logisticium looking at the suggestions more frequently and making sure that everything is being taken into consideration. But if there isn't anything else, go ahead. Sorry.
I don't want to say anything on the current suggestions. I want to have time to think about what's said, unless people want me to give them an answer now. But I'd rather let this sit and see what I can do.
Okay, that's fair. It gives us more time to make sure that we get the right decisions going. With that, then, Astrup, do you want to?
If I may,
Oh,
on
go
that
ahead.
really quick.
Yeah, please, Alec.
I would also I would really consider expanding the division as well. We invented it as a two-man division originally because it was supposed to only handle events and event gathering. With the addition of quests and notes, I feel that the Logisticium definitely needs more hands on deck.
For sure. The goal was I was going to have the Apothecariums come in and take over and help with it, being that they are a part of that morale team. Since if there isn't any incidents going on, it gives them more reasons to be doing community outreach and talking with people. And then I also need to learn as well so that I can take over and help too where I can. That was what the goal was, what we were planning on doing. I was talking with them about it, and I believe also the Reclusium was thinking about helping out with that. If I remember correctly, Astrath, was that something that we were talking about at the time?
More of the priests helping out more, but we are always happy to help out, learn it, because I've already looked through the docs. It's not too hard. I've already ran a little with Phaeton, so I understand the gist of it.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so that's where we're going to kind of go back to how it was when it started. It was opened by the head apothecarium at the time, and was his kind of like his gift to get more people active and playing through the role. Every Red Council member here, minus me, has touched it in some way and changed things or in that nature when it came to the apothecarium or the tech marines or the librarians. They all worked on it together.
Yeah, if we can get more, definitely more boots on the ground from the officers in the server, like just helping with the more like mechanical side of it, approving, supervising, all of that shit. It would leave our Logisticium more time to do the creative side of it and the more technical editing side of it. So we definitely need to start looking around for more Logisticiars to pad those ranks and help those guys operate a little better and more smoothly.
Definitely, that's going to be something to keep an eye out for, just so that they know what they're. We can, if any brothers are interested in doing that, helping with making quests or trying to make them more accessible. I know Phaeton is always looking for somebody to question him and make sure that he's making the right decisions.
So what do you guys
on
mean
that-
by more accessible?
Regarding what?
Well, I just keep hearing the words like everything being more accessible. Like, is
I
this
can-
information? Is this knowledge? Is this like?
It's largely a difficulty issue for some of them. It's things like I'll just read off verbatim one of the points that Brother Ace mentioned in his message a little while back here. Defaulting every hard quest to 25 waves of hard mode siege is widely disliked. I don't often see people go past 15 waves when playing, and siege mode in general not played nearly as often as operations. Just things like that. A lot of these
I think
quests.
that's definitely fair.
Yeah.
With Siege not being able to be like critiqued or catered to with a specific like rule set or anything of that ability, it is kind of just not usable, and it doesn't have as much of an ecosystem as the other portions of the game
Dante,
does.
do you have access to viewing the Q&O on our side?
I do not.
All right, let me get that to you. That should help you guys out to
Okay, for sure.
help you get more ideas.
Can you also send that over to Phaeton as well so that he can use that?
Yeah, no, like Phaeton should be getting access to it here soon anyways, working with Aflin, so that's no problem.
For sure. Much appreciated. Thank you, brother. All right, so on that, Curio, do you have anything to talk about that hasn't been addressed already?
I have something more personal that I've been sort of working on for a small amount now since I've been home. With my lack of internet and connection being terrible out here, I haven't been able to do as much progress on it as I want. But as of now, I am looking into something that will help with current relations with other servers and future relations with other servers as well, including ones we are not currently allied to. Unfortunately, I do have to keep this one a bit vague because, as I said, it's like really early into development, and I haven't even included in a whole lot of other people as to what all it's going to be. Rest assured, I do have approval from Sanguinius and Dante to be doing this, and if it works the way I want it to, it's definitely going to help out being able to do more for you guys as far as other chapters.
Yeah, as of right now, the current goal for me and why I've been away has been talking to other chapters, getting more stuff going on so that we can have those similar events as the ones that we did with the Space Wolves, so that you guys can earn more gear that's outside of what is classified as us. And that's one of the things that we're trying to add into it and work on so that we have more ways that people like to engage. So if you have some buddies that are in a different server, you can totally just go and go play some games with them, and it still counts over here. So we're trying to keep it as open as possible. With that segue, we are going to go to Astrath. Do you have anything to declare or talk about that hasn't been spoken to during this?
So currently nothing that anyone hasn't brought up, but I am open for any questions if y'all have for me, and I will answer them as best as I can. And I have both my Jadis here and the Ecclesiarch in here who can speak on my behalf if y'all would want for them to speak instead. Hello? Mic check?
I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. Hello? Oh, there we go.
Yeah, you were heard.
So I have nothing else to add unless anyone wants to ask the Reclusium on our behalf what's happening. Any more questions?
All right. Is there any questions down here?
Not that I remember. I've been trying to keep an eye on it, but there's just a lot of stuff going through, and I have brain damage. It's
All
hard
right.
to keep track.
Well, with that, Phantom's DMs are open to ask him any questions if need be. And with that, I'm going to end it out. I'm going to toss it over to. Well, actually, I'm not going to end it out. I'm going to toss it over to Ayako. Do you have anything to talk on the server side of anything that's going on that you're working on that you'd want to let the brothers know. Or several. If you're here, would you be able to speak for him?
I was muted. I am so sorry.
It's all right.
We have the Armorium tickets thing. It's alongside the behavioral tickets. So when you go to report a behavioral ticket, if you have like a question about roles or hey, why don't I have access to this? Should I have access to this? Bring it up with us, and we'll help solve it for you. That's kind of the newest thing that we added on. We're still tackling the AAR bot, but I'm gonna admit school and my Python's a bit rusty, so that's been my go-to.
I can actually talk to my fiance. She does coding in Python and see if she'd be interested in assisting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just she doesn't play the game, so I haven't really been able to have her join a rank. And I didn't want to just throw my future wife into the server and just be like, oh yeah, she's a tech marine. That wouldn't be fair to the brothers.
What? Showing favoritism? Beyond fair? Crazy.
Crazy.
I try to keep this place.
People don't like favoritism?
I hate it, actually.
So make her like a Magos Domina or something so that she's
That
not.
might be a good idea. Or
not
do they
in
have
the
a
actual
tech marine version of the Adeptus Sororitas that I don't know about?
Not that I know
She
of.
she could literally just be a fucking tech priest. What do you mean?
Right.
That's fair. I could make her a tech priest, but I was just mainly not. I didn't think about this. She just randomly started looking up things to do in Python, and I'm like, "You know how to do that?" And she's like, "I do it for my work." I'm like, "God damn it!" I'll talk to her about that and see if we can give you some assistance in that if she's willing to assist.
Yeah.
With that, the former tech marine, aka Mephiston, do you have anything to discuss that hasn't been discussed here?
I do not have anything to currently add to the docket. I believe everything discussed is pertinent. I would like to hear from I believe he's gone. Okay, well fuck, he's out of here. Never mind. Umbriel, do you have any your questions, anything that you've been gathering? Are you satisfied with everything that you've heard today, man? How's your note keeping going, my guy?
I'm gonna be honest. Still, as it stands from the server side, you guys are all very vague. Which, to be fair, that's your choice, but it doesn't exactly help with my
Hang on,
proofreading of
what?
everything
Ask
I
some
gathered.
questions. Let's clear some shit up. That's why we're here. What do you need answered? What are we being
Okay.
vague on that?
First thing I'd like to know, and I've heard this from several people, the only person I feel comfortable with naming would be Cassius, is that at one point or another, before all the drama of them all leaving started, there was talks of having Phaeton step down for one reason or another, and that had abruptly stopped when all the drama started. Was there a particular reason why that was in discussion?
There was no
I do not
discussion on that behalf.
I heard
Yeah,
about
I don't-
this too. I heard
Phaeton
about this
left
too,
down.
so I'm interested.
Yeah, so there wasn't any discussion on Phaeton stepping down. There was a discussion on the question note system and the tickets that were being placed. So that was what our discussion was about. There wasn't any role of him being removed. It was more of he needs to ease back and have his guys work on other things, like helping out with the tickets.
So I wanted to ask now about this too. Now that I know who is the best person to go to about learning how to do these tickets? Is it him himself, or should we be directed to one of his underlings, I should say?
Well, we wouldn't use the word underling. I don't think anyone here is an underling.
Partner, associate.
Sorry,
Yeah, I
wrong
don't-
word. I'm tired. I haven't had a lot of sleep the last few
All
days.
good. All good and understood.
Additional
but,
logistical member.
Everyone
Okay.
clear? Real quick, calm chat. Phaeton, would you like to talk on that? On how the lieutenants can learn?
I don't see
So
a fate.
the
Oh, there he is. My bad.
Okay. The plan is at current is I'm going to teach all the members of Red Council, and then it will be up to them to choose who they want to teach.
So I'll definitely give you a rundown on how to do it. If anyone's interested in it, that is in those
I need
ranks.
to cut in.
Let's go.
Yeah, please.
I was directly involved with those conversations. It was discussed about Phaeton possibly stepping down. The reason why it was like such a high contention thing was because a bunch of people were trying to push for Centio to be brought up because of the amount of work that he'd been doing. And then a few of us had been fed lies and stories about why he wasn't allowed.
Can I make a
So-
comment on that one? This
Thank you for
actually
speaking up,
directly
Rose.
involves my. This actually directly
Yeah,
involves
I
my
have
server. Can I make a comment on that one?
I would say go ahead. Yeah.
All right, so the Centio situation, I do need to bring this up, and I keep everything transparent to Even Brothers. Centio came over and told technically our guys who do the same job that Phaeton was unavailable. He also proceeded to badmouth Phaeton and say everything that needed to go through him. Phaeton was unreachable. He's never going to be on the server, and the only person who's going to do anything is himself. Which then created an alienation between my guy and Phaeton himself until this actually came up later. So you might want to be careful about that one.
Well, this just goes back to the point of it being vague.
And I would like to mention, naturally, do you have any evidence to suggest that this is what actually happened between Centio and your group? Because
if we
would you like me to bring my guy in, the guy who
Yes,
has
you're able to
literally
get
got
Athlon in
6
here,
months
please
of
do
shit
so.
in?
I will
If you-
say
if-
that
if you-
it was
Oh, go ahead.
only about 2 nights ago when Mephiston and I first got the chance to spoke with Athlon, and his first question to us was about Phaeton and his supposed inactivity in our server. He relayed to us stuff that Centio had said to Athlon, and one of the things that Lehman didn't mention was Centio had said that Phaeton took a 2 or 3 week LOA and said that the rest of the Logis team can figure it the fuck out. That's how it was worded to me. I don't know how much you guys have spoken with Phaeton in the past or understood the way that he says things and works. That is far from the truth with him. And I've looked back at the LOA logs. I looked back at every channel that I could. And I even spoke with Phaeton himself. His LOA never happened and never existed.
Has there been more than like 5 minutes where Phaeton hasn't been approving a quest in the Quest Awards channel? I mean,
No, there hasn't.
seriously, guys?
One time he took about 6 hours to do mine.
Okay, well, I mean, he sleeps
How
sometimes.
dare
We do
you.
have to let him do that.
Like the guy's always available.
I just wanted to bring that to the sergeant's attention on that situation and everybody else's. Like, this is something that happened over in my server. Cactus appears to be offline, but if he has any physical messages, Dante, I'll send them straight to you and you can post them in the chats.
I would appreciate that just so I can clear it up for these brothers here. I want us to be
Yeah, no problem.
transparent when it comes to these situations.
No problem.
And then if we have any other questions based off on his stuff that has been addressed or has been talked about, we are free to answer those questions. I know Phantom has some stuff that he can address if there is any more questions on Centio.
Be blunt.
I believe that's an invitation for Rosarius to speak.
Yeah.
Please.
He's typing it. Give him a moment.
All right, I'll just say it. You,
There it is.
Dante, you just lied. I'll be honest. I was a part of those conversations. I heard you talking. We heard the whole point of those conversations when it came to Phaeton being stepped down. It was a matter of him acting irresponsible in a position of leadership, and we were trying to talk about how we could go about facilitating either making him more favorable in the eyes of the brothers, where they were seeing more no's and no explanations, and a lack of communication. There was a bunch of toes getting stepped on left and right. This is why the conversation was being had, is about taking ownership of the mistakes that were made, because Phaeton was in a point of leadership and people had seen slights against him or them
Well,
from him,
well,
with
if I may
either
add,
acting in a fashion of putting up silly haha gifs or this, that, or the other. It was a overload to the point where this became a proper conversation. Like
well, if I may add, I have been speaking with Phaeton about his behavior, which the discussions were done before there was a conversation. A lot of things were vented, and then I took a step back due to everything that was stacking up, and was discussing it with members of Red Council and other members that were affected by it. And as this situation has been going on, Phaeton has also been taking notice of his shortcomings in this and has made a conscious decision to involve me more in things, and also to have his logistician work through the suggestions and be more and have a more professional stance on things. Which I do want to apologize for any of those confusions, or a lot of things at those times were said with limited information, and I'm trying to take more time on these decisions to the chagrin of some people, to make sure that we are making these decisions informed and not doing them off of the sake of emotion or even a conversation that has not been had. That is not how I operate. And that's what I want to keep pushing forward, is that there's always a conversation that is had before a discipline is done, or even a demotion.
But where was the conversation when you timed out everyone? Or may I say Astorath timed out everyone?
Yep. There you go.
Would you like to
That's the
address
one.
that?
Yes, sir. So when that whole shit went down, I had multiple messages from members. If they'd like to come out, they can, of what was happening, what was conspiring. For that, I let it be. I relayed info. From there on, I got pinged. I'm leaving because of this. I'm leaving because of this. Sanguinius stated, stop mass pinging. Continued. 2 hours. That's when I started timing out. And I will face that full value. And that is why we are currently talking to brothers.
Yeah, you and me are gonna have a DM after this anyways, so.
Yes, sir. I will have a meeting if you would like, and Dante can come.
No, we're not having a meeting. This is just between you and me. So that's
There
all
to
I'm
go.
gonna say on it. So with this, I'm gonna say this right now. I'm stepping down from First Company. All respect to everyone here that has supported me along my ways, but with the current way that this keeps going, I'm stepping down for my mental health. I cannot be dealing with this with the situation that I'm dealing with my family. So I'm being torn from friends, from people. I don't know who to trust. Good night, goodbye, and good luck. I wish the best for all of you.
Can I stop you for just a moment, Zephan? I guess not. I'm confused on, I guess, what just happened, considering like you can watch everything that was just talked about in the logs. People were pinged, were asked not to ping, people kept pinging, action was taken. So where does that rage just now come from, and why was it not further explained?
I would also like to point out that this pinging that occurred over the course of 2 hours was causing a lot of distress for our members, and in order to try to calm the situation and avoid mass hysteria over something that we did not fully understand at the time, the people involved were timed out so that the heat could come down in the room, so that we could figure out what was going on and then start to have those discussions. But it does not help anyone to just allow essentially, this argument to just suddenly blow up in public for several hours at a time without moderators taking action. If this were literally, like, if this happened on the official Space Marine 2 Discord, for example, people would have gotten timed out. So the actions that were taken were just standard moderation practices in order to take the heat out of the conversation, and avoid people freaking out and causing a panic.
All right, Cactus is in the chat, ready to be dragged. The other thing that you sergeants should know is the pings that were used went to more than just your chapter.
Yeah, I would like to make, let's address that really quick. So when we're pinging PvE, when we're pinging PvP, we're doing these things inside of the appropriate channels. That is because we can mute and we can control the pings inside of certain channels. So like myself, for instance, when I'm at fucking work, let me take it down. Sorry.
Yeah, just a smidge, bud.
Like me, for instance, when I'm at work, there are channels that I keep muted and silenced so that way my phone, my watch aren't constantly going off. There are things that I keep unmuted, like the general server and everyone pings and things like that in the main channels that I can open up and keep on my watch so that way I can see that things are going down or what may be happening. It's it's pretty ridiculous to be in the middle of my work day or something and my phone and my watch to be going off for 2 hours because of something that does not need to be dragged around in public.
Yeah. To expand a bit further on that, of the 1,250 odd people that are in here, the majority of them have access to the 9th Company channel, or our general channel. And a lot of those people, as you guys may or may not be able to tell, are not active in the server. Some people just join to take the server tag. Some people join, don't like what it's about, and then stay in anyway. All of those people received a ping from the PvE LFG pings, or either the LFG pings are used, and the everyone pings that were used. Those people did not need to receive all of those pings over the course of 2 hours.
So
I don't know if you guys know this, but there were several people in chat who were in reserves for a month or several who were popping in to try and figure out what was going on, why they were receiving these pings, especially from the LFG pings. So this wasn't a slight against them saying, oh, we have to shut them down to stop them from speaking out against us. I am fine with people leaving. They can leave whenever they want to, for whatever reason they want to. I'm not going to stop them. I'm not going to harass them. I'm not going to chase them. But they don't need to be mass pinging everyone in the server. That is a decision anyone who has some sort of moderation in any Discord channel would do ever if there's an abuse of mass pinging.
I mean, Discord itself tries to stop you when you ping more than like 50 people.
It will ping you and go, are you sure you want to do this? So they were given an option to not do that and do it where it was catered to just the brothers that they were saying goodbye to, but they made it into something that Sang was actually not even involved with. He immediately saw that and said, stop this now because it's hitting everyone, because he was getting messages from other people.
Yeah.
And that's why Phantom was given the okay to do this.
Thing to mention is the guys that were mass atting everyone, they may not be aware that it was reaching so far afield. So we're not saying that, is us versus them with that action. It was a moderator action to stop it going out to members that didn't need to be atted, because it was causing a lot of confusion and panic. And like Virgil said, in any other setup, any other Discord facility, a moderation action, and it was just a moderation action, would be to stop the mass pinging, because it's against, it's the server rules. We mass pinging people.
It's the same thing we do for bots that appear. Like we've had a few times where we've had bots trying to post links for porn sites, other things of that nature. The thing is immediately shut down. The thing is muted. If it's a robot, it's removed. And that's pretty much what every Reclusium member is trained to do by default.
So to reiterate, as Rosaria said, you did just lie to me when I asked whether or not there was a discussion for Phaeton to be stepping down. I just had a question as to I just had a
That
question as to
discussion
why
wasn't held in the Red Council.
that's not
So
what I
that is
asked.
a
though.
decision held by the Red Council.
Yeah, that discussion was not had by the Red Council at large, as I was not even aware of these discussions. So
Tonight
That
is the
was
first time I've
us.
heard about this.
That was
That was-
the white and black bringing it to the Red Council of our evidence because it dealt with that. So we never
That
had
also-
one with the Red Council.
That also wasn't my question. It was a generalized question. It wasn't just for the Red Council. And Dante himself said that that was not a discussion that was had, despite being involved with it. I just wanted to know why you felt the reason to lie.
I would go so far as to say because the discussion wasn't about him stepping down, it was a part of a discussion as to what to do with Phaeton, which is what you were asking. The discussion between everybody was had about what should be done with Phaeton, but there was never a discussion about Phaeton stepping down because it wasn't the point of the discussion.
All right, so Cactus.
Yes, my Primarch.
How's it going, brother? I just need you to quickly go over what Cynthia was saying about Phaeton in another sister chapter real quick.
Yes. So in the sister chapter, when we were working back when I was still doing events to become a rune adept and go through the process, about it was like halfway through December, going on into like late December, working with him on the event for joint servers that he would where I'd asked where Phaeton was. And he had said that Phaeton had told them that he was going on vacation and that he said to the Logisticars an essential, I'm on vacation, fuck yourself, figure it out. He was saying that Phaeton wouldn't get in contact with him, that stuff like that. And when I had asked like where Phaeton was or why it was so hard to get in charge of, because I was only able to really contact Sentio, he said that, well, Phaeton doesn't want to be bothered by people lower on the totem pole, so I'm to be your intervene here. And that hierarchical-wise, he has other things to do.
Thank you, brother.
So real quick, was there no real way for you to get in direct contact with Phaeton? I don't think it would necessarily be that hard as I'm switching the server.
When I was given access to talk with both Sentio and Phaeton, it was here's Sentio, here's Phaeton, meet them, great. Talk to those two about events, and then just kind of that was it. And then I knew that Phaeton was in charge, like Master of Marches. I was informed that he was like what essentially a high rune priest would be for us, like head of event security. And Sentio was like a mod in that scenario. So I'm like, okay. When I would talk to like Sentio, if it was okay for me to reach out to Phaeton, he was like, no, kind of try to keep it to this chat. You're not really like a rune adept. You're not like a rune priest yet. Says, I thought it was just a hierarchical structural thing. Like, don't reach out to the boss if you can get things done with the secretary.
Any other questions on it?
Not at the moment.
No questions, but just a comment. This situation is so fucking stressful. I am genuinely tempted to take up Newports again.
I don't blame you.
Brother, can you pass me something, please?
I've actually got some cigars in the fridge that I've been thinking about over the last 20 minutes.
I hope I was able to.
Do you have any screenshots of these things so that the brothers here can see it?
I sadly do not, as all of my conversations that had taken place with Sentia when I would try to contact him either through text would be, he's like, can you jump into VC? Or he would be in a VC, and he would like, hey, could we talk about this over in a VC? So he'd make a lot of efforts to get me either talking to VC somewhere in the Space Wolf server or somewhere in the eventual Blood Angel server when I saw him around.
Do you know if there was ever anybody else within the chats that you were having?
That's the thing, he kind of like pulled me aside most of the time.
Okay.
Sorry.
This entire situation is my gut churning. It's not fun.
It's eating at all of us. The way I look at this server is it's supposed to be for a hobby, for a game, to have fun and just interact and play games with people. If there's any disagreements, I would have expected them to come in with just conversation, or people just letting each other know, like, hey, this is not something that I like, and that's what we're trying to accomplish here with the way that we're talking to everybody. And if it is vague, that's why we're asking that you please impart more detail to the question, that we can answer it to the fullest of our ability.
I will say, since then, of talking to Santio and then having a meeting with Phaethon, everything that Santio has told me before that Phaethon was like very not true at all. The image that he constructed in my head that Phaethon was like this stalwart dreadnought of toughness and like rockcrete that was, I will see this that it's done. That displeases me. Like you're talking to Rogel Dorn or something. Not at all the case. Very wonderful person. Very easygoing.
I appreciate you, Cactus. Does anybody have any other questions for Cactus about this situation?
I'm so sorry. Who is Cactus? I lost the plot.
High Rune Priest Afflin Galder.
Yeah, the guy in the green, the guy with the green Phoenix Reich picture.
Hello. I will try my best to answer any questions you have.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, he was pulled in so he doesn't make a ping.
I don't have any questions for the Space Wolves other than how many pints of beer can you drink in 30 minutes?
It depends. How many pints can you put down in front of me in 30 minutes?
Dude, I want to have a drinking competition with the Space Wolves.
Do not tempt him. Do not tempt him. I have been hearing this shit from him for a long time. Trust me, he can do it.
The man does
Anybody
own the bar.
anybody besides me have a kegerator in their house, and anybody besides me a bartender.
Yeah, I was about to say he does run a bar.
And how much is the blood to wine ratio in Dante's drinks?
That's
more
a
blood,
secret.
less wine.
I think the question for me is how much motor oil,
All
how much
right. Well,
WD-40 do we put in there?
if that's the
I've
case,
had
I don't want to keep you too long, Afflin. I thank you for
No.
stepping in.
Anytime. If anything I
Thanks for being here,
can
cousin.
if anything I can say or anything I can do can help this meeting run smoother, please call upon me again.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If there isn't any, are there any more questions or concerns that that need to be discussed?
I have a little concern here. So two of the people that left, actually three of the people that left were all pretty close to my squad. It was Sentio, previous sergeant, shit, I forgot his name. Our previous sergeant, the other previous sergeant, and then our lieutenant all left immediately. I'm a little worried that they're worried. Just think it's pretty stressful for them. They did lose three people who were pretty important to them.
So with that, Tycho, did you want to address the third company roles and where people are going to be, what we're going to be doing with that?
Yeah, sure. So obviously, is no secret that Third took quite a hefty hit with people moving in different directions in terms of their server activities. There is plans to basically slightly shorten the size of Third to bring it into much more manageable for the sergeants that we've got less, bolster the squads. There's also a discussion that is just basically on the floor at the moment. Has only been proposed in the last 24 hours that we potentially go back to a single company, so bring second and third together to unify the server, so that we've got a very strong first and second battalion again. Logistically, that's quite a big thing to do. So it's going to take us a couple of weeks to fully complete that work. If that's decided, that's the direction we need to move on. Obviously, at the moment, the initial thoughts would be just to manage Third so it's a bit more comfortable for the members that are part of Third, and then maybe look at making two companies become one, so that there's lots of unification of the brothers. So there's no divide. It's just thoughts that were on the table in the last 24 hours. In terms of myself and Virgil, we're going to go away now and over the coming days have a discussion about how that would look, whether it would work, because the last thing that we want to do is hurt the community more in this situation. So we're just offering solutions at the moment. We'll be gaining some opinions from LTs, and then in due course, I would appreciate any of your feedback around those.